Hello, today we are answering another question that diversity visa applicants continue to ask. It has to do with the reopening of DS-260s. We usually say life happens, and as life happens, what should you do as a diversity visa applicant? Should you reopen your DS-260 to update information in it, or is it okay to leave it just as it is? Those are relevant questions under consideration in today's discussion. Welcome as we begin the discussion. Alright, so let's say you have submitted your DS-260 and for some reason you wish to reopen the form. The reason could be an error that you committed when filling out the form, or perhaps some event has taken place in your life and you wish to take that into consideration in the form. So the question is, should you reopen your DS-260 after submitting it or not? We are going to answer that question in twofold. Firstly, we will see what best practice is when it comes to reopening your DS-260. And then after that, we will take into consideration the practical aspect. So let's begin by considering what the best practice is when it comes to reopening your DS-260. So whenever you have some correction or an update to make to your DS-260, best practice is that you reopen the form and make that correction or that update. That is what is generally advised when it comes to reopening of your DS-260. And the reason why you are advised to reopen your DS-260 and make all necessary corrections or updates is so that at your diversity visa interview, your DS-260 will reflect your current reality. That is what is considered as best practice. Now, let's consider the practical aspect of reopening your DS-260. It is true that you should normally reopen your DS-260, but experience has shown that the time you request KCC to reopen your DS-260 could either make or break your diversity visa application. Now, let me share with you the experience of an applicant to give you a better insight into this issue. Here is an applicant who filled out and submitted his DS-260 based on information that was passed down to him by his parents. And then it happened that after several months, this applicant discovered the reality concerning the information that he had submitted. He saw that there was some misrepresentation which he needed to correct in his DS-260. And so he wrote to KCC asking them to reopen his DS-260 so that he could make that correction. Now, KCC at that point was about to schedule his diversity visa interview, and so they responded by saying they could no longer reopen his DS-260. Now, that was not the issue. The issue was that in addition to them not reopening his DS-260, they also indicated that because it will cost them a whole lot to reconduct his entire application process, they were bringing his diversity visa application to an end. In other words, they would no longer schedule his diversity visa interview, which meant that that was the end of the diversity visa program for that applicant. So here is an applicant who had good intentions, who applied best practice, but whose diversity visa application was brought to an abrupt end because the timing of his request was bad. And so based on that, let me share with you an approach that you should have in case you wish to request KCC to reopen your DS-260 in order to make some correction or some update to the form. In case your case number is far above the current cutoff that is shown in the visa bulletin for your region, meaning that case number is not likely to become current anytime soon, then you can comfortably request KCC to reopen your DS-260 in order for you to make the necessary corrections or updates. Even if they have already processed the form, they won't have much of an issue when it comes to reopening it, because your diversity visa case is not likely to be scheduled for interview anytime soon. That concerns those whose case numbers are far above the current cutoff number that is shown in the visa bulletin for their region. Now, on the other hand, if your case number is already current or it is likely to become current in the upcoming visa bulletin, then do not request the reopening of your DS-260 directly. There is a more prudent way to go about with that. And this is the approach you should have. First, write to KCC and ask them to tell you the current status of your diversity visa case. That is a more prudent approach. We saw that in our last video, and so for those of you who did not watch that last video, I'm going to include the link to that video in the description of this one. You can click on that link and have a look at that video. So write to KCC and ask them concerning the current status of your diversity visa case. And as we said the last time, they are going to respond to your email. They will tell you at what stage your diversity visa application is. What they will actually be doing is arming you to prevent your case from having the same fate as the case we saw earlier in this video. And so, in case their response indicates that your diversity visa interview is still far from being scheduled, then you can go ahead and submit your request to unlock your DS-260. But on the other hand, if their reply indicates that your diversity visa interview is about to be scheduled, then there is no need for you to request the reopening of your DS-260. There is even a reply from KCC that says your diversity visa case is current for interview scheduling, and as such, we can no longer reopen your DS-260. So take along with you any update that you wish to make to the form to your diversity visa interview. Now, that is a very important document. Not only does it situate you when it comes to the stage of your diversity visa application, it also serves as an important piece of evidence that you may need at your diversity visa interview. So print it out and take it along with you to your diversity visa interview in case you receive that reply from KCC to indicate that you had the intention of updating the information in your DS-260, but you were advised by KCC otherwise. So that is how it works. Which brings us to the end of today's discussion. Thanks for watching the video. The channel continues to receive voluntary donations in case you find the content of this channel helpful in your diversity visa application process. Then don't forget to go to the channel homepage and make your voluntary donation by clicking on the Donate Here button that is located at your upper right hand corner. And I will see you, God willing, in the next video. Until then, goodbye.